Welcome to the Path to Better A1c. My name is Jenny, and I'm a National Board Certified Health Coach and a Diabetes Prevention Lifestyle Coach, and your host for this podcast. I help busy professionals who want to lower A1c, lose weight, and prevent diabetes without cutting out the foods that they love. I was able to reverse my own prediabetes. Now I find joy helping others do the same with simple, sustainable changes, and I bring lots of tips and parts of my own signature program into the new episodes that drop every Friday. So be sure to subscribe so you never miss one. Now, today's podcast has a very interesting format. I decided to go over a few of the typical mistakes that a lot of my clients tend to do when they're trying to lower their A1c. Now, let me ask you, have you ever felt frustrated with blood sugar spikes, energy crashes, and that slow progress in weight loss that you experience despite trying to eat healthier? If so, this is the episode for you. I am breaking down 5 common mistakes, mind you, there are more, that might be spiking your blood sugar. And I am going to tell you what to do instead. Now, if you want a step-by-step plan and where to get started to balance your blood sugar, ditch those cravings, those mid-afternoon slumps, without necessarily having to give up carbs, I've got something special for you. I am going to be hosting a free live Zoom workshop, the 3-step blueprint for stable blood sugar, on Monday, March 17th at 12 noon Eastern Time. It is a 1-hour session. I'm going to show you exactly things to do so that you can keep your blood sugar levels steady and your energy levels at a great level without feeling deprived. Because that's one of the things that I try to incorporate in my program and tell my clients. Now, spots are limited, so grab your spot, and the registration link is going to be in the episode notes. Now, let's get right in. Mistake number 1, skipping meals. Skipping meals, especially breakfast, might seem like a good way to cut calories and balance things out, but it often backfires. And why is that? Because when you go too long without eating, your blood sugar just drops too low. And it can cause your body to release stress hormones, and that actually creates a spike. So when you're trying to have this steady level, the best approach, and this is how to fix it, is to, instead of skipping meals, aim for balanced meals every 4 or 5 hours that have protein, fiber, and healthy fats. And that will keep sugar steady. I know that there are studies out there about intermittent fasting. While I'm not necessarily against it, I don't advocate for it because I have seen a lot of clients actually overeat when they're doing the intermittent fasting instead of actually having these balanced meals. And that is just my opinion. Now, mistake number 2, eating naked carbs. That's how I like to call it. And this is one of the tips that I tell all of my even potential clients whenever I talk to them in a clarity call. This is the first advice. Do not eat carbs alone, right? Have you ever grabbed a banana or crackers as a quick snack? Well, if you're doing that, you're eating the carbs alone. And what happens to your blood sugar? It will spike quickly. And while the fiber in some of complex carbs may delay a little bit the spike, if the only thing that you're giving the body is carbs, that sugar level is going to go up. It is not complex enough for the body to take time to process all of it. So how do you fix it? You always pair carbs with protein or fat. If you're having the banana, try adding peanut butter. If you're having the crackers, grab some cheese. This will actually slow your digestion and it will help you keep full longer and avoid those crashes that many of us experience when we do this. Now, mistake number 3, drinking sugary coffee or juice first thing in the morning. Now, I have to say, as a former Wall Street worker, thriving, my breakfast was actually a large coffee with vanilla creamer, light and sweet. And I would actually ask the cart guy, if you're in New York, if you've been in New York, you know there are these carts selling coffee. And I will ask for extra sugar and then a butter roll. And that was my breakfast. That was a lot of carbs and the caffeine that kicks that cortisol level. Now I look back and I'm not surprised that I was diagnosed with prediabetes back then, even though I was not overweight. So look at how you're building your breakfast. I always tell my clients, focus on a high protein breakfast, especially for breakfast, because that many times determine the cravings that you're going to have after. So instead of starting with a sugary latte or a fruit juice or flavored coffee that actually can send your blood sugar soaring, try to swap it. Try unsweetened almond milk. Try a better quality coffee and add some dash of vanilla or cinnamon instead of all those syrups. And these are practically empty calories. They really don't have much nutrients. And if you love juice, make sure you don't have it first thing and you have it when you're having protein foods like eggs or yogurt so that it can slow the sugar rush. Now, mistake number 4, and that is like an easy one. A lot of people dismiss it. They don't think too much about it. Not drinking enough water. And I think most of us don't drink enough water. So did you know that dehydration actually raises your blood sugar? When you don't have enough water, when you're not drinking enough water, your body ends up concentrating that glucose in your bloodstream. So it makes it very hard for insulin to work properly. And if you already have that insulin resistance, that most of us, and I'm going to include myself, that have to watch those blood sugar levels, and you're not drinking enough water, it's guaranteed that your bloodstream is going to have a higher level of glucose. So how do you fix it? Make it a habit. Do habit stacking. And this is a term that a lot of the health coaches use, which means take one habit that you already do and add that water to it. So if you always have that cup of coffee, tell yourself, every time I have this cup of coffee, I'm going to have a glass of water. Pair it with your meals. Before your meals, have a glass of water. If I know that a lot of clients tell me I don't like the flavor of water, remember that herbal teas, as long as you don't sweeten them, they count like hydration. Add some lemon. Do infused water with cucumbers, with berries. During the fall, I actually experimented with a stick of cinnamon and some apple slices. It was delicious. So if you feel that water is boring, try to do that. Make it accessible. Make sure that you have it near you, and that will help you tremendously. Now, mistake number 5, and something that also a lot of people dismiss and almost think that does not have any correlation with sugar, and that is stress and poor sleep. Stress and lack of sleep can actually spike your cortisol levels. And if you didn't listen to my previous episode, episode 10, please take a listen. I talked a lot about how hormones affect your sugar levels. This can actually raise your blood sugar, even if your diet is on point. So to fix it, set a consistent bedtime routine. Use small stress management habits, simple habits, things that don't take too long. Take a minute to do deep breathing. If you're really feeling overwhelmed, having a quick walk, even 5 minutes, And having a mindful walk, looking around, looking at the colors, it actually helps lower your cortisol levels naturally. Some of my clients, they incorporate coloring, they incorporate journaling in the way of brain dumping. Putting all the things that they're worried about on paper is a great exercise to release the brain from having to worry about these things. It creates that illusion that I don't have to think about it now because it's on paper. So try some of these things and just think about, somebody said, can these small shifts actually have a great impact? And the answer is yes. I have had clients that just by skipping the breakfast, they're seeing a shift in focus, they're seeing a shift in energy, and they end up losing some weight too. So these things work. Don't feel overwhelmed with a lot of the things that you could change. Focus on one thing at a time, and when you feel confident, then build up from there. So now let's summarize and let's recap. 5 mistakes. And I may do this ever so often because these are not the only 5 mistakes, but the 5 mistakes that might be spiking your blood sugar are not eating regularly, skipping meals. So eat regularly to avoid those extreme highs and extreme lows. Eating your carbs naked. Pair carbs with protein or fat so that you can keep your blood sugar steady and you also feel satisfied. Watch out for those morning drinks. Swap those sugary lattes, swap those juices, and you will see a tremendous difference. Stay hydrated. That actually helps insulin work more effectively. It needs that water in your system. And prioritize sleeps so you can also balance and manage stress. If you're tired, if you have high levels of stress, cortisol levels raise, your blood sugar increases, and it just creates that cycle. So now if you're ready to dig deeper, learn even more, and take a step further about getting a clear, simple plan for keeping your blood sugar stable without giving up carbs, I would love for you to join me on my free live workshop. Again, the 3-step blueprint for stable blood sugar. It's coming on Monday, March 17th. That's St. Patrick's Day, so wear green, at 12 o'clock noon Eastern Standard Time. It's completely free, but spots are limited. So click on the registration link that I have in the episode notes to save your seat. And if you have any questions, feel free to reach out to me or check my webpage and send a contact message. Thank you so much for tuning in. If this episode was helpful, please be sure to subscribe, share it with a friend, and I will see you next Friday for another episode of The Path to Better A1c. It is my pleasure to raise awareness, to help as many people as I can to reverse prediabetes and prevent diabetes just the same way that I have been doing and continue to maintain my levels under normal ranges. But it takes lifestyle changes to do this. And it is my pleasure to help you accomplish the same thing. Have an amazing rest of the week.